State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu today presented a 4.27 trillion naira budget proposal for the 2026 financial year to the State House of Assembly. Tagged the budget of shared prosperity, the governor says the plan focuses on accelerating infrastructure delivery, strengthening health and education, as well as expanding social protection across the state. The proposal includes 2.55 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure and 2.185 trillion naira for capital projects, with the state projecting 3.993 trillion naira in total revenue and a deficit of 243 billion naira. Sanwo-Olu also disclosed that the government has implemented 81% of the 2025 budget so far, amounting to 2.86 trillion naira, which he says reflects sustained fiscal discipline and growth. And joining us to give us a bit of insight on this budget, we have Femi Onakanren. He joins me live from Lagos. Mr. Onakanren, it's good to have you join us on the program. Governor Sanwo-Olu is proposing a 4.27 trillion naira budget for 2026. What then are the key priorities driving this significant increase from previous years?
Thank you for having me. What's important is recently the whole subnational level in Nigeria has had a windfall in terms of federal allocations. And that's with the removal of fuel subsidy. Of course, we must not forget the attendant inflationary import from the FX changes. Now, this means that each subnational, each state governor has a lot more funds to deal with to actually attend to the needs of the people and the mandate that they were given. At the same time, it also exposes the inflationary position as the trend goes. The increase in the budget value is not really is something to actually be happy about, because one of the problems we've had as a country is that our budgetary allocations are very small compared to our land area size, our population demands, and even the kind of economic and commercial status we are going for. So it's a welcome development having this particular budget, with the volume. We hope that the Lagos State government can increase in such allocations as well as deliver on expectations of the people in terms of budget utility.
Right. I mean, Lagos State's budget has grown from 1.1 trillion naira in 2021 to about 4.2 or 4.3 trillion naira in 2026. Now, how does the government plan to manage such rapid growth in spending?
One of the things that we should look at is public information, discovery. The governor said that the ongoing year's budget is 81% completion. And those are the kind of things that, we want people to be involved in, want people to hold the elected officials accountable and to have a proper review of what is going on. If the budget has a 81%, utilization, then we should now say, okay, what's the impact? How has it translated into the life of the people? And that will give us a better view of the subsequent year's budget, the 2026 budget, how the budget is going to be actualized, how it's going to be utilized, and what impacts people are going to go for. Like I said previously, the increase in the budgetary allocation, we can't compare 2021 to 2026 or 2025 for that matter, because a lot of changes have happened, a lot of things are different, and the world did not stand still. We still had subsidy influence in 2021. We cannot factor in the same situation in the current position. We have a lot of things that have changed in terms of investments, revenue growth, IGR growth, across the state. There are so many things. Even the population of the state itself has increased. So the budget is welcome. It covers a wide area of things that we are hopeful for. The representation as presented, like almost 50-50 in terms of recurrent and capital expenditure is welcome. But what we should now look at, right, because I think that the recurrent is still pretty large, we can find a way to reduce it. But with the capital expenditure, appropriation, we should be looking at how is the budget utilized? What's going on? If we can deliver again, and then we say, okay, this budget has been proper. It's not just spending the money and having projects. We also need to evaluate impact on the lives of the people. So if we say budget has been, utilized to particular point, we've used, available resources, we've done this project, then it should translate in the life of the people. And then,
would you say that it's translated in the lives of Lagosians? Would you say it's done that? I mean, if 81% of 2025 budget has already been implemented, would you say you're from Lagos? Is it reflected in the lives of Lagosians?
I wouldn't say it is something that is the people can say yes, it can if you're talking to the common, the lower level of the society. But at the same time, we would also need to have a deeper introspection, a deeper review of what the 81% constitutes. Some of them may be budgetary allocations to projects that are ongoing, that have not been completed. So we cannot determine how well, the impact of those particular projects, is going on. So it's just that they've disbursed it. Now, the other part that we need to understand is that there's a social contract. The people as well need to hold the government accountable. You need to follow up. Just as the governor has said, there's 81% utilization. We say, okay, where was it? Where was the appropriation done? When do we expect delivery on XYZ projects? And at the same time, what are the impacts? The budgets, in my opinion, should come with actionable delivery, something we can measure you by. We can say, okay, we're spending so much in education, we expect to have so much improvement in education. We're spending so much. So those metrics will help guide if we are hitting the mark, not just the spending or allocation of the funds.
All right. I mean, as we're talking about, the expenditure and basically in-depth analysis of the budget, we do know that this is going to pass through the Assembly, the Lagos State House of Assembly. How do you think they will review the bill? What would they be looking at in terms of discrepancies and implementation?
Historically in Nigeria, when the same party has control at state national assembly level and at the executive level, usually there's a convergence of views. So we don't expect there to be too much of a pushback against it, against the budget. We expect most of it to be likely passed through. There shouldn't really be so much of an issue, because some of the things that are highlighted there, at some point in the preparation, some of those principles were also involved in the process. So we don't expect a lot of pushback, right? We just expect that there's proper accountability, there's visibility. It's not just the volume that we should be concentrating on. We should be talking about the utility derived from the budget. And this utility should be measurable, right? It should be tied to clear deliverables for the people. So if you say we're doing this train, for example, I can give you like the London train system. So the Elizabeth train line, when the project came up, right, it's a PPP project largely, but when the project came on, the deliverable was very clear. How many people it was going to deliver, what it was going to save middle income people, how it's going to reduce expenditure, household, expenditure. Stuff like that are things that should be communicated, and it will help people to appreciate budgets more than just the figure, the significance of the figure or the razzmatazz around the process.
All right, I must say thank you, Femi Onakanren, for joining us. We appreciate you for doing this with us.